Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Jason Allen. I am a realtor and real estate planner based in Palm Springs, California, and I work with Keller Williams Luxury Homes here in the desert. So my markets that I focus on primarily are Palm Springs, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, and Palm Desert. On a weekly basis, I do a market update and I focus on different cities. When there happens to be 5 Mondays in the month, I'll do a valley-wide focus. Today it's Cathedral City, so I'm going to dive into those numbers. And I always invite you to reach out to me if, for example, you live in a city or are considering a city that I haven't covered. So it's easy for me to do one of these reports. They generally take about 10 minutes. And I love diving into numbers. So here we are, Cathedral City single family homes. For those that don't know our valley, Cathedral City is just to the east of us. And median sales prices are currently just under $500,000. This is a little bit down from a year over year analysis. And by the way, virtually all of these are comparing October of this year to October of last year. You can see here where unit sales are up 20% from October of last year. And for those that were with me when I did my valley-wide analysis, I showed where overall pending sales were up. Now, pending sales are those properties that are under contract that have not closed yet. And when we see pendings go up, we can expect to see more closings in the following month, since escrows are typically 30 to 45 days. So we're up over last year. Inventory is down. That's what's buoying prices still. So days on market has unchanged from last year. It's about 40 days. That's important for sellers to understand. You're going to be on the market longer than we were when it was the height of the market, but not nearly as long as we were pre-pandemic. Sales to list price, almost the whole value at 98.2. And this is important because these folks did not take a price reduction, but it's an average. And it's down 1% over last year. It's an average because if you look here, we have 33.3% of homes that are selling at or above asking price. So if we had 24 sales close, a third of those is roughly 7 to 8, 7.5 or something. And those sold at asking or above asking. That pushes this number up because we are seeing a number of homes that are going for less, not significantly less, as demonstrated by this average. We don't have things that are going at half or three quarters. And then over here, these are homes that have had at least one price reduction, and they're still getting pretty close to their asking price. And this is true throughout the desert. We're not seeing wholesale losses here. Month supply of inventory, almost 4. It's up a third. So we've added about a month on there, a little bit more than a month to our supply of inventory. And supply of inventory is basically if we had no new homes or condos come to the market, in this case, homes, how many months would it take us to sell out of all of our inventory? And this is just under 4 months. Let me say that most agents, when looking at this, say 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. A balanced market is where no side has more leverage than the other. Very consistent. Median sales price, $313 per square foot. I didn't mention this above, but I'll say it here when talking about median price. For those that don't remember, median is right in the middle. So half went above that, half went below that. When we talk about 24 sales, 13 or 14 went above, 13 or 14 went below, depending on where that number lands, since it's an even number. Did I mention inventory? 77 homes on the market, single family homes in Cathedral City. And then just closing this out, 42% of the homes sold within 30 days. Those were homes that were priced correctly and the market responded to their value proposition. 79% sold within 60 days, and then 100% sold within 90 days. Now that's amazing. If we look at other markets and other segments, and it may be true when I flip over to condos, we're often seeing this less than 100. So in other words, some homes are languishing, and that's because sellers haven't really offered something in their presentation that a buyer recognizes as value. So let me flip over to condos quickly. Unit sales 4, down almost half of last year. Inventory is up, though still at 32 condos. That's not a whole lot of homes. Median sales price, 257.5. You've got days on market at 110. So here, what I'm sensing is that condo owners have not fully embraced the adjustment they need to make if they're being on the market that long. However, having said that, almost 99% of sales price to list price for those. And that's because we have 75% of those. So three out of these four went at or above asking price. In that case, sellers had appropriately adjusted their price and really offered a valuable proposition. Um, and then for those that had to take at least one price reduction, if not more, we're talking about more like 90% of the original sales price. So in this case, you're looking at like a 10% discount. That's actually not, I mean, that's a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but it's not half. And that's what some were predicting. And I just don't see that. We have 4 months supply of inventory, so close, a little bit more than what we have for single family houses. And I want to come back to this, if uh, our sales are only 4% and our inventory is 32, you're not talking about a lot of sales. So that's why all we'd have to do is have this go up by two condos, and this number would drop. So we don't have a big sample, as we would say in statistics. Median sales price is essentially the same over last year. So we're, again, not seeing a lot of change. Zero of these homes, not one of these homes sold within 30 days. They either went to 60 days, 90 days, or above, and that would make sense when we look at the 110 days on the market. Remember, this was our sample size. I have one other chart I'd like to show you, and this is from the folks at Chicago Title. It's broken into houses and condos, and it's what they call their market action index, among other things. I like this because in a very sort of simple graph way, you see that we're still in a buyer's market. We're not back in a seller's market yet. And that's because the number of transactions has dropped. Interest rates have pushed buyers out of the marketplace, buyers that can't afford, a high mortgage if they're financing it. And what is interesting, though, is that among houses, we are just sort of still seeing this steadiness with their prices. It's not as if we've seen anything fall off dramatically. And this is Cathedral City single family dwellings. Now, let me go over to the condos for a moment. Still a buyer's market. That speaks to going over to this chart where you have inventory of 32 and they're looking at only 4 sales. So that gives buyers a lot of leverage in the marketplace to ask for things. And then we come down here and you can see where condos that we're selling here are now selling here. So it's like so many other markets in the valley, it's the higher end, the more expensive properties that have taken the biggest hit. That's everything for today. I'm happy to, again, meet with you personally by Zoom or at my office or by phone. We're on the cusp of Thanksgiving. Things will slow down. It naturally does. In fact, if you're a seller, you may consider putting your listing on hold. Or if you're a buyer, you may want to kind of buzz around and see what's out there because you have no competition. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I look forward to seeing you next week.